And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce my friend and the chairman of Sunex Malta, the deputy CEO of the Malta Tourism Authority, Leslie Vella, to give you some welcoming remarks. Thank you.
You may be asking, why has Malta taken such a step and such an initiative in hosting Sunex and working so closely with Jeffrey Lipman in this initiative? And the reason behind this is that Malta, in spite of being a very small state within the stage of global affairs, has historically, since independence, always taken active roles in events and initiatives of a global dimension. I would like to mention the fact that Malta, way back in the 1960s, spearheaded the process which eventually led to the International Law of the Sea, which recognized the sea as the common heritage of mankind. And in 1987 was the first country to place climate change on the agenda of the UN General Assembly, asking the UN and convincing the UN to look at climate change as an event of global significance, which needs to be followed, monitored and studied, so that we recognize as a species and as a planet its importance and its threat to the planet. So basically, besides these interests, we are also a vulnerable small island state with an exposed coastline, a huge dependence on tourism, most of which is coastal in nature. Most of our settlements are also on the coast, so sea level rise and extreme weather events as a result of climate change also pose threats to our continued well-being as a society and as an economy. We have recently been working on our tourism strategy to 2030, and I am pleased to say that this strategy integrates climate-friendly travel as a very important pillar of our strategic direction. We recognize the fact that climate change is something very imminent, and we need to integrate climate-friendly travel strategies into our strategic direction in recognition of the threats which are posed. We have also taken other actions in this regard as a country and as a destination through our support of Sunex and working closely with Jeffrey and his associates. And two things I would like to make particular reference to is our action that we have taken in the form of the Climate Friendly Travel Registry, in which companies and territories and organizations submit their climate friendly travel objectives and ambitions. And also we hold annual think tanks, bringing together experts to come up with the latest knowledge and latest information on progress in the climate friendly travel spectrum, whilst also looking at future generations by providing education opportunities through the unique and first climate-friendly travel diploma, which we at Sunex Malta are holding jointly with the Institute for Tourism Studies in Malta. I augure you the best of luck, and I hope that you keep working with us in terms of this noble ideal with a view to making climate-friendly travel cross the border from something that we wish to achieve into something which becomes reality and part of normal travel. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Leslie. I always enjoy hearing you speak, and I should tell our students that Leslie is one of the most experienced tourism leaders in the world. We've been working together one way or another for many, many years. He's the architect of Malta's quite advanced 2030 strategy for tourism, and he's the managing director of a new observatory to be the kind of focal point for putting that strategy into practice. And I think as we work together in the coming months, you will see how important it is to have someone with that kind of experience that Leslie has, who's able to combine an academic mindset with a really practical implementation attitude. We'll be hearing more from Leslie during the course of our time together in the coming months. But now let me ask Pierre Fenech, who is the CEO of the Institute of Tourism Studies, ITS, our academic partner and lead partner in this course. Pierre, over to you.
Dear colleagues and friends, welcome on behalf of the Institute of Tourism Studies and our lovely Maltese Islands. Our institute is focused on the provision of quality training in the fields of tourism and hospitality. It has been founded way back in the 80s to help raise the quality standards in this beloved industry of ours. Since then, the institute evolved in what it is today, an international institute offering courses from basic to master's level on a multitude of fields. In 2018, we were approached by Sanex Malta to collaborate on the development of the Diploma in climate-friendly travel. We believe so much in the sustainable development of the tourism industry that we immediately realized the big potential that this might have on the evolution of the industry in the years to come. This road was not an easy one, but with the great determination of both sides, we managed to come with the quality Diploma in climate-friendly travel and launched it in 2020, with the first cohort starting in October. The feedback so far was excellent, both from the industry, who are looking at this important project, the lecturers, as well as from the students, who constantly share with us the satisfaction they are getting through this course. I really hope that the spirit will continue and they will be the drivers to change needed in order for all of us to reach our final objective, which is that of moving ever closer to a climate-friendly travel scenario. More outreaches will be done in the months to come to further our offer on a geographical footprint. It is today's youth who will successfully lead us through the climate crisis in the decades ahead. Hence, we need to continue to invest in them by offering them quality training and tuition so that they will be tomorrow's champions. Thank you.
Thank you, Pierre. It's a delight to work with you and your colleagues at ITS. It's been a real pleasant experience to immerse ourselves in your systems and your traditions and your academic values. And I'm sure, again, as the course continues, we'll be hearing more from ITS leadership. And I'm very pleased to say that we do have with us today Simon Karuna, who's our sort of focal point in working with ITS. And Simon will be involved in some of the lectures as we move forward on the course. And let me finish this round of welcomes by playing a short 3.5-minute video which tries to give you the background on Sanex Malta. Thank you. I was just starting off as the president of the World Travel and Tourism Council, which is now the business leaders organization for the travel and tourism sector. I was the first employee, and we were creating a story that said travel and tourism is the biggest industry in the world. We didn't have very much to go by. We had limited statistical material, but we had the 6 biggest companies in the world who said we have to be there on the world stage. And our message at that time was tourism is great. Tourism is good for you. Tourism creates jobs. Tourism deals with poverty and the whole thing. And I had begun to see that there are some downsides as well. And that like any economic activity, there are limitations to how good growth is. So I went to the Rio Earth Summit. I had that capacity. I met the chairman of the Secretary General of the summit, Maurice Strong. Maurice Strong had been the father of sustainable development, and he had been involved for 40 years in building up this from the Club of Rome, right through the Brundtland Commission, to the creation of the United Nations Environment Programme, to this big summit. It was a 25-year friendship and mentorship. I learned from him. I think I was one of his closest confidants at the end. And SunX is a legacy to Maurice Strong. It's the Strong Universal Network. And we added the X at a certain stage because climate change is existential. And amidst all of these 17 Sustainable Development Goals, 2030, 2050 agenda, there's just one existential issue. If we don't fix climate change, your kids, my kids, our grandchildren, they're not going to be here, or they're going to be here in very trying circumstances. And if you want an example of this, you only have to look at what's happened the last month, which scientists are telling us is pretty much a result of the warming of the oceans and the volatility that's been introduced into our weather. And in 1 month, whole countries can be wiped out. That's what existential means. So SunX is a system where over the next 10, 15 years, we want to set up a movement amongst young people. We want to set up monitoring stations in every country. We want to join them on the cloud, and we want to pull from this massive information that everybody is looking at on sustainable development, which are the really important ones that popular movements will say, enough is enough, you can't keep doing business in this same fashion. With that, I want to turn now to a more practical issue, and that is to prepare you for the orientation session that we're planning to hold in the next couple of weeks. Not just orientation on the course content, but also, most particularly, we will, during the next couple of weeks, be introducing you to the Thinkific platform. And the Thinkific platform, if I can briefly summarize it, because we'll go through it in more detail next week, is a software tool, a platform on which we will be storing all of the material for our lectures, all of the support material, all of the videos, all of the articles and book references, and we are going to be complementing all of our lectures with this material. In addition, because of the great spread of people around the world, and as I said before, the different time zones, we're going to try to pre-record the course lectures and have them on the Thinkific platform in such a way so that if the lecture happens to come in the middle of your night, you can still take the opportunity to attend the lecture and just gear yourselves for the question and answer sessions. And also we'll be having, thanks to the Thinkific platform, some specific kind of quiz type exercises, which will allow you to, and allow us, I would say, perhaps more, to make sure that you are focused on the key points in the lectures. And we'll have our first experience with the platform next week. We'll take you through it step by step. You can ask questions about it as we do this. And hopefully by the time we start the first lecture in a couple of weeks' time, you'll all be familiar with this tool, and you'll get more familiar as time goes on. You'll see also that we've created a WhatsApp group, and we will be creating debating groups. This means that we'll take groups of students, put them together, and ask them to prepare for a debate session. And we're holding these at the end of each module. And we'll be holding one specifically for the group which are in the Asia Pacific and Europe region, and another for the Americas and Europe region, so we can catch both time frames at reasonable hours, and so that you can work in groups which are in some sort of time proximity to each other, so you'll be able to work at decent hours together. And our colleague Pratishta Parajuli will be your main contact for the organization of these debate sessions. Now, all I want to do is to give you a perception of this today, because during the next 2 weeks, we're going to be going through it in detail. And after that, we'll start on the course proper. Our first couple of lectures are going to be dealing with climate issues. So with that, I want to bring this session to its next phase. And the next phase is we are going to listen to an exchange that I had with some of the students from what we call the class of 2021. This is our first diploma course. They were the kind of experimental group, and we held a session at a conference that we organized called STAYS, which is the Strong Earth Youth Summit, on the birthday of the man who inspired Son X, Maurice Strong. And we're going to have sessions on Maurice Strong, so I'm not going to talk about that today. But on Maurice's birthday, he's dead now, but on his birthday, we've held global youth summits. And in the last one, I interviewed some of the students from the course, partly to show other people how they felt about the course, and also partly so that they could experience engaging in an international conference, probably for the first time. The SAYS conference is always held on the 29th of April, and we will be preparing for that in January, February. So I want you to take a look at this. It not only shows the perceptions of the students, I like to think it shows the kind of spirit that we had as we went through this together. And then after that, I'm going to turn it over to you guys, and each one of you is going to get 90 seconds to say who you are, where you are, and why you're looking forward to being part of our SunX community. So here we are again with another session. This one totally different. We've got a representative group of our diploma students, and they're all going to answer some questions that I put to them about their experience on the course and what they took away from it. So I want to introduce you to our 6 students. They'll tell you who they are. And I'm going to go first to Pratishta Parajuli. Pratishta, you get to be the guinea pig on this one. If you would like to tell us who you are and what you took from the course that you could find useful going forward in your career.
Thanks for this, Jeffrey. I'm Pratishta. I'm a Nepali. I currently live in Canada. Through the course, I've actually started, planning, designing, organizing, and coordinating different events, and all related to bringing about climate-friendly travel awareness. And that includes like the first Strong Earth Youth Summit. We had over 600 participants from all over the world. I also was involved in a 5-day-long summer school, and we had over 400 participants, and recently the Sanex Malta's strong climate, this think tank event, and we had industry professionals from there. So it has been a great experience for me personally. Thank you.
Yeah, and let me just say, Pratishtha, you have been incredible on this course in providing help to us to make those events go off successfully. So I'd like to publicly thank you for that now.
My pleasure doing it. Thank you.
And I want to now turn to Grace. Nice to see you, Grace. I know you have one of the best smiles on Zoom, so perhaps you can show us that smile and you can answer the same question. What did you, who you are, and what did you take away from the course that you can use going forward?
Well, I'm Grace Nevadina from Cameroon, presently based in Portugal. It's really been a wonderful experience during this course, and during this course I get to learn more about climate awareness and the effects of climate change within the tourism industry. And so what I take forward is to raise awareness and educate more the people in my local communities about these consequences, and also educating them about the importance of preserving their culture, spirituality, cultural heritage, which can serve as a site for tourist attraction. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace, and we hope to stay in touch with you even after the course is finished, so we can help you in that role you see for yourself. And now, Caroline Kimani, please.
Thank you, Jeffrey. I am based in Nairobi, Kenya, born and raised in Kenya, and it was truly a privilege to be part of CFT 2020. And it really broadened my perspective on the role of climate, of emissions in the travel industry, as well as how the industry can mitigate these emissions. And since the diploma, I have been able to support in the training through the support hubs that Sanex offers to its climate registry members. And I'm also supporting our ministry here in Kenya, Ministry of Tourism, in also adapting some of these principles we learned from the diploma. Thank you.
Yeah, Caroline, just to come back at you on that's a kind of something which emerged for all of us out of the blue, based on a contact that I had with the ministry and their interest in linking up with our students. And I know it's just started for you, but you're actually going into the ministry and working sort of part of their team, as I understand it.
Yeah, sure. We are supporting the ministry in developing a strategy towards sustainable tourism, and we are glad to see the kind of shape it's taking, and we're really hopeful that it will steer our country to be a leader even in Africa in sustainable tourism.
And there are three of you. We had three students from Kenya this year, and they're all working on this, which is wonderful. Angie, you have been our lifeline to social media, and it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the course. I've learned a lot from your knowledge and skills of social media, which just reflects the age difference between me and the people in the class.
Hi,
Talk to us, Angie. Hi.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. My name is Angela Rodriguez. I come from Spain. I live in Madrid, and yeah, I learned a lot of this course. It was great to be part of this group. Specifically, I am a consultant for sustainable tourism. So right last year we were already developing sustainability plans for destinations focused on decarbonization, which was a lot of what we actually learned throughout the course. And we continue to do so through the consultancy firm that we have collectively. And yeah, we're just helping the public and private sector to actually implement and design and implement the strategies to decarbonize the tourism supply chain. And this course gave me the kickstart to actually doing this. So I'm very, very grateful for it.
Well, it's been a joy to have you on the course. Thank you very much for being with us. And now for something completely different. A more mature student, might I call you that, Mark?
Yeah, you can call me whatever you want to, Jeffrey. I think you have done during the course already. So, yeah, so I'm interrupting you, Jeffrey. I'm, as always, I'm Mark Bibby Jackson, and I'm a travel journalist. So I have my own website, Travel Begins at 40. And I suppose probably the best thing about the course for me has been to meet so many people, both on the course and also the professionals giving lectures and presentations. So to learn so much from them and to learn so much with them. And Jeffrey is very kind, as you know, has allowed me to write for Exist. It is the newsletter which we produce every month. So it's the climate friendly travel newsletter, and I write articles for that every month, and it's been great to actually get into to get deeper into people and to find out what they are actually doing to combat climate change and tourism, because there's a lot of talk, as we know on this course, and there's a lot less doing out there. And so it's been great to write about people actually doing things to mitigate climate change in tourism.
And you are a great writer. We really found a sort of a nugget when we asked you if you would write a couple of articles. I think you've probably written 15 or 20 now, and they're all really interesting. It's made our monthly bulletin Exist so much more relevant to the real world, so much less academic. So, you know, again, thank you for your engagement, Mark, and your continuing engagement with us.
Thank you, Jeff.
And last but not least, a recent postgraduate master's student, I think. Erica, talk to us.
Hi, thank you, Jeffrey. My name is Erica Scarpaglio. I'm Brazilian, but I currently live in Italy. And during my master's degree, that Jeffrey said, I studied tourism, and I decided to apply for this course because my intention was already start my thesis based on the impact of climate change in tourism and vice versa. And also, I did this internship with Sanex as a team leader, and I've learned the importance of engaging young people and companies, regardless their size or market, on raising awareness, making plans, and actually act to reduce our carbon footprint. Now that I just finished my master's degree and the climate-friendly travel diploma, I hope I'll be able to work for a company which values this knowledge and let me help them to mitigate their carbon footprint as well.